Hey guys, I have a treat for you today. My black-headed python male, Aspidites Melanocephalus, just shed and he is looking amazing. Of course, this guy is always a bit wired up, so get ready for his antics. He'll probably try to strike at me. But look at those colors. I mean, the sides, which are a bit hard to see from this angle, but the sides are very light, and he might actually turn out calico like his father. But look at that head. I mean, he is just absolutely amazing looking. And I have a mouse for him, which he smells, I think, already. So let's see how he acts towards the mouse. Well, that was a miss. That was a miss. And there you go. Here comes the constriction. And he got it. As you guys can remember from my previous videos, I used to keep this guy on sand, but sand ended up being problematic. It got into the snake's nostrils, it got into the snake's mouth and actually clogged the snake's tear ducts, and his eyes start to swell up with tears, actually, because the tears could not vacate. As they have eye caps, unlike us, the tears cannot come from the eyes to the face, it goes through the mouth. So he had a serious problem, and at the end I had to take him to the vet. His eye caps was punctured and his mouth was washed, and then I changed the substrate from sand to wood chips. Just gonna do a close-up to the side to see those colors, but look at these amazing colors. Anyway, he is constricting now, thinking that he is killing the mouse, and soon he will start to eat it. Now, for you that do not know much about these snakes, let me give you guys a brief introduction again. Black-headed pythons come from Australia, mainland Australia. They are quite widespread, and they usually inhabit dry regions where they hunt a wide variety of Australian lizards. They are not mainly rodent feeders in the wild. They actually enjoy eating agamids like bearded dragons. They can also even take monitors, the dwarf Australian monitors, and even the larger ones, as these guys get quite large themselves as well. Yeah, again, they live in the arid regions. They usually spend the day in burrows, like termite holes or rodent burrows, and then when it gets a bit cooler, they go out for hunting. And in the cooler season, they can just stick their blackheads out of their burrow, and then the blackhead would get much of the sunlight, and the snake would absorb the sunlight through the head and warm itself. So it's very nice to see these guys in the morning when they wake up if they are hiding under something, they just move their head under the light and just warm themselves up by slightly tilting their head up. They're very cool snakes. Still not common in the collections. They are still a bit expensive, as the export of wild animals from Australia is very restricted. But since people are breeding these, they're getting a bit cheaper in price. Now, the father of the snake is a calico, meaning that the sides are patternless almost, and the top is dark but very limited dark. The head is still black. And we don't know the genetics of the mutation yet, but what ends up happening is some kind of a hormone kicks in when these guys are coming close to adulthood, and then all of a sudden you get a color change. But this guy is gradually getting lighter and lighter on the sides especially, so he might end up being calico like his father. I also have the sibling of the snake, a female. She's much smaller because she started feeding much later than the male, and with very small prey items. But now she picked up as well, and she's getting bigger as well. Her only problem is she always wants to escape, so she keeps rubbing her nose and eyes on the glass, and I have to use, soothing creams and medications. Now this guy is trying to eat, as you can see, from the bottom up, and it's not going to be easy for him unless he goes up, starts eating from the top. And there you go, he gets it. He can already take small rats, believe it or not, but he struggles with them, and I really don't like to, offer large items. I would rather give him 2 mice in a week rather than a rat, to make things easier for him. I normally feed him outside of his cage. His sister is being fed right now in a separate container. Just wanted to film this in a more natural looking environment, but I don't like snakes swallowing pieces of substrate. It may not cause a problem, and I know that snakes in nature do ingest substrate, but if a snake in the nature dies, it's sad, but it's a normal thing. However, if a snake in my care dies due to something stupid like an infection, I would be extremely sorry. As you guys can see, he found the correct way to tackle this feeding. Of course, unfortunately, we cannot see it properly because of where the snake is. But I think you get the idea. People used to call these animals pitless pythons, the black-headed python and the Woma python from Australia. And they are not in the python genus, they have a genus separate, Aspidites. But recent studies in Australia show that these snakes have actually heat-sensing pits, like their cousins in other parts of the world. It's just that the pits are under their mouth in this small area where their jaw looks like a bit undershot. There's a very small hole there, and there are actually heat sensing pits there, so these snakes also sense the difference. Now theirs may not be as evolved as other pythons because these guys usually eat cold-blooded prey. Of course, cold-blooded prey may have very hot blood temperature when they are basking, but they will have cooler blood temperature when they're not basking, so there's a differentiation there. Anyway, I will intervene and get that piece of wood. Alright, good so, but I think I scared the snake a bit. Just to get him back to the view. Here we go. These guys take their time when it comes to feeding. I think it would be different if they were eating lizards, because I think they're, you know, specialized that way. Rodents takes them some time, especially if the size of the rodent is larger than the snake could easily handle. And right now I'm looking at his sister, and she is still struggling with a mouse, and she started 5 minutes earlier. Alright. Alright, we are good. Almost done. As you guys can see. Of course, his colors are a bit exaggerated, the iridescence especially, because he just shed. And, you know, he's looking much more shiny than he would normally look, I guess. But anyway, he's done, and he would get pissy really quickly. And after a hard day, you know, trying to shed and all that, I don't want to stress this guy further. But as you guys can see, he's quite active. And I'm sure he will try to come and strike at me now. Yep. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And hope to see you soon on another video. Bye.